Good evening, and think about it using common sense. I haven't been on for a while, but every time I come on, it's a good time for me because I need to vent. But first, before I do anything, I have to tell you about this experience I had. So I'm walking uh, in town, and I walk past this CBD store, and sometimes I have problems sleeping. But so I decided, anyway, I said, hey, look, let me go in this store, see if I can get some CBD and see if it may help me sleep at night. So I went in and I got two packets of like gummy bears or something. Right? There's two gummies come in one package. I got two packets. So you get to the meat of it. I'm home that night. Get home and I'm sitting back and I'm looking at this gummy. I said, should I or shouldn't I? So I ended up on should. And instead of eating one in the package, I ate two. So I'm sitting around maybe 15 minutes, half an hour or so, and nothing happened. Then all of a sudden, began to start feeling a little buzz. And it wasn't long before I went from a buzz to a high to a trip to slightly hallucinating. And I'm telling you, I was effed up off them gummy bears, man. And this was supposed to be something like a CBD, like a light, what I thought, 'cause I don't know, I never taken it before, but I thought maybe it was just something light that would make you sleep. That sucker, man, look, I was high for quite a while. And I don't mean buzzing, I mean high. And I had something to do the next day. And I was so high, I was wondering would I be able to do or carry out this meeting I had to do the next day. But so as it habit, I was able to next day. I was, I was okay, but I still felt a little buzz from it, but I was okay. But to be able to walk into a CBD store and buy some gummies and eat two of them and get effed up like that for that long period of time, and not only was it just a high, but it was also like a little trip involved in that. Look, I'm telling you, man, that stuff needs to be. That was some. I mean, that was some terrible stuff. It was good if you're looking to get high, but I'd hate for a kid to walk up on something like that, or even if someone's not expecting to get like that, or then it maybe just could have been uh, my system reacting to it. But if my system react to that like that, then uh, who's to say what someone else's system, how they going to react? Because we are different, even though we are the same. So I'm just saying, when you take that, you got to keep a eye opener on it. Because I'm gonna tell you something, I really, really got effed up off that, and uh, I'm not telling anybody what it was, where I got it, but it was purchased in a store, so I assume that there's other stores out here that has that type of stuff, or could be even better or worse. But I tell you, man, that was some high. That was some high. Um, and that's that has a caution sign on it. Then I got that out of the way. Um, they had the January 6th hearing today. I don't know if it was the last one or not, but um, just came out with more fuel poured on the Trump administration and the Republicans and CIA, the FBI, and saying that a lot of people was involved in having the January 6th insurrection turn out the way it did. It was a lot of inside hands on it. Um, which it's, they, I guess when you start talking about high profile crime and participation and involved in things such as the insurrection or call it coup or however you want to label it. It was a horrible thing to happen and to continue to happen in America, in this country, regardless how the foundation was built on. But, the principles and Constitution and those things, even though it wasn't at the time it was written, maybe it wasn't, not maybe, but it wasn't written for all citizens. But at this point in time, all citizens come under the umbrella of the Constitution. Um, I think if we, as a people, instead of spending all this time and effort trying to divide, conquer, I think if we as a people spent more time trying to unite as a people and preserve the principles of this great country, if it isn't too late, I think this really needs to be our focus. Um, because the reality of it all, we have nowhere else to live but this planet. Um, and does it need some work? Yes. We as the people here in America and around the world need some work. And it just seems as though in the hands of so few is so much power and so much wealth that more could be done by those who control and have all the wealth. The majority of them, not all, the majority. And have the people so unaware of their capabilities and what they can achieve because we're so busy fighting amongst ourselves and fighting the pressure that's been applied or put upon us as a people that we don't have time to think outside the box to really value what we have and to value the ability that we can and what we can accomplish through working together if we're always fighting amongst one another, not trusting one another or each other. So this is some of the things that's uh, I feel and see is being taken lightly with yet have such a devastating effect or repercussions and lifelong repercussions, not only on us now, but on our children and their children if things do not change. And it's not about waiting for someone else to change things for you. If that was the case in 2022, approaching 2023 in a couple of months, it would have happened by then. And well, from what I see, and based on my experiences, people do not take life serious or serious enough. And I'm not saying you walk around with a, well, then maybe so, but life is serious. And when I'm saying serious, I'm saying it's serious in regards to your future, the future of your children, a plan, uh, or goals that you have set for yourself to achieve, or um, where you want to be in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years financially, um, the importance of health, eating right, uh, the breaking of habits. You know, when we talk of junkies, right away, dope comes into your mind. But there are all types of junkies, people. You have ice cream junkies, you have potato chip junkies, you have chicken junkies, you have, I mean, all these things, and too much of anything can and is detrimental to the body and mind. So therefore, we need to pay close attention. And also, we need to realize that we have nowhere else to live but this planet, our neighborhood. Our neighborhood only has value if we put value into our neighborhoods. That's why we have other, sometimes you see other people, contractors or corporations or people getting together, they come in and they see in your neighborhood what you do not see, or do you not appreciate or realize what you have, and they take advantage of it. They take advantage of it. It happens all the time. And the value is put on your neighbor, on your neighborhood or your community based on how well your neighborhood, your community is kept. How close are you to uh, public transportation? Uh, and you have the city, the security, police force, uh, the businesses, jobs in your area. All these things add value to your community. And if you don't take the time to clean up your community, go to community meetings to show interest, then how is it that your community is going to uh, gain value? You see. And then someone else come clean your community up. Now you have a beautiful neighborhood community here, and now all of a sudden that People just want to come back and maybe mess it up again. No, man. People invest, that's their livelihood. I think they say one of the biggest investments you make is property and a car, I think. See, one, and then two, with the price of automobiles and what it takes to maintain it, if it's not new, especially. Then they charge so much for new automobiles and insurances, especially now with the electric cars coming up. I mean, sure, electric cars come up. You don't have to uh, stop at a gas station to fill up. You have to stop at an electric station. Uh, you may not have the same type of movable parts or components in an electric vehicle as you do in a gasoline vehicle. But at the same time, there's advantages and disadvantages to that. So you want to start thinking about things. You do not just want to respond to something that is life changing or could very well be life changing to you and your family. And I heard something the other day that of all the Georgia the public schools in within the city, I think they said only 4 schools had libraries. So I'm saying, well, how can you have a school without a library? But apparently that's how it is. But at the same time, I'm thinking that it was talking about, purchasing libraries and things like that. But you can go on Google. I don't know how this could work, but you could go on Google and find out anything that you want to do. So you don't have to necessarily have a physical library, but you can have a library online that's put inside a school that kids can go into, look up, read, do anything they want to do. And those computers, you can't do anything to them but lock into learning. And you can tap on anything you want to learn about right there. So that could be a alternative. Could be an alternative to having libraries, because at the end of the day, the library is all about obtaining knowledge. So we can get that. And I think that we can get around that. What we really need to focus on is getting these children, uh, motivated enough, and excuse me, and getting them to the point that they want to focus. They want to get interested in learning and find out their interests and cater to it. People are different. Everybody's different. Some people like this, you like this, you like this, you like this, and that's fine. That's okay. It's okay. But anyway, you're getting these kids off the street, you get them involved in something, you get them away from a lot of negativity. And you have to, these kids have to be disciplined. And I'm not talking about beating them and stuff like that. That's not what I'm talking about. But at the same time, they have to have some work ethics. They can't just be on that phone, be playing these games. Can't do that, because the mind is just like anything else. When these kids are young, that's when their minds is like magnets to pick up everything. And once they get a certain age, excuse me, The mind is not as quick, it's sharp. And this is what we need to do. We need to take these children, and regardless, you got to give them some tough love. And then if you don't put all these things in front of these children, then they don't have to worry about missing them, or you don't worry about taking something away from something that you've never had. You see, so change is going to have to go on. A change is going to have to take place if things are going to change. It's just that simple. Just that simple. There's no other way around it. We need to teach these children the value of money in these schools. We need to teach these children the value of just obeying the laws and punishment. How these kids could, they out here doing stuff, not even realizing the consequences of what it is that they do. They think it's a joke. Some of them. I was watching I was watching this movie. It's a documentary about uh, these kids in jail, and a lot of them they sitting in jail. So I didn't know it was gonna be this. I didn't know. I mean, like they thought it was a game. They had no idea until they wind up in them jails. Them jails do a lock, and then reality hit that this is where you're going to be for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years, if not life, for what you did. And they're sitting up in jail saying, you know what they did, and realizing how wrong it was, realizing how stupid it was, and realizing the price that they have to pay for what they have done. It's not a game. It's not a game. But you have to be taught. You know, and I mean, I know this kid that used to watch that wrestling all the time. You know how to do all that body slam wrestling, WW something on television, and we all know that's fake. But a friend, excuse me, told me he took him to a wrestling match at um, at one of the universities, and when he told me that the kid that was watching this all these wrestling matches on television said he was at the college wrestling match trying to pick a kid up and body slam him like they do on television. Hear what I said? And it wasn't that the kid was ignorant. That's what he saw. That's what he thought. That's what he did. Until he told him, no, that's not how you wrestle. And showed him how to do it. And the kid got interested in wrestling. And I think when he was in college, he was on the wrestling team. And I think they went to the Olympics or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. But my point is, we're sitting on, couldn't even begin to tell you the amount of superior knowledge and opportunities, and professions, and people that the doctors, and scientists. I mean, all these brains, and we're just being wasted. It's being wasted. And I heard something today about the schools and how they're being taught, and how some kids, some races, nationalities, they have a different educational program in their school that's better. Some schools in the same programs are not provided in other schools, so students are not learning at the same rate or the same pace, you know. But when you're looking at the races of people, and I mean, it should not be that way. Everybody should be taught the same way, the same thing. But if you're not, then this person has an edge when it comes to getting jobs. Just be realistic. Okay. So so therefore, you have to make sure that you're taught correctly. You have to make sure that you are aware of where the country, where life, where technology is heading. And you have to be taught along those guidelines so you will be able to fit into the future. We're talking this. I turn on occasional uh, shows, podcasts, and just to hear people talk and see how basically people talking the same thing. Georgia, principles, the bottom line, the baseline principles are the same. You want something, you got to get up and go after it. What did I do? Okay, I'm sorry. If you want something, you have to go after it. I mean, this is what's being taught basically. Okay. At the same time, uh, people were being, you have to ask yourself, okay, um, what do we really know? We look at this situation that we're in. Look at the situation how uh, people, you have a very few people at the top that controls and have all the wealth, controls everything. Then you have a few that will jump out and try to make money, which some do. Then you have all these different inventions, everything. You got something for this, you got something for this, you got a pill for this, you got a pill for that, you know. Um, and you don't know. You don't know whether it works or not. You don't know what to do, but you buy it. And that's how these people get their money. People make their money from you, us. And for an example, if you have I was in the store the other day. They charge 25 cents, okay, for a bag to put your food in. Okay. 25 cents for a bag. Now, if they sold 1,000,000 of those bags at 25 cents, they have made $250,000. You hear what I just said? 1,000,000 bags at 25 cents is $250,000. Okay. Doesn't seem like a lot of money when you're paying 25 cents for a bag. But if you're a bag person, if you manufacture bags and you done sold 1,000,000 bags at 25 cents, that's $250,000. See. So you get money quick by numbers. You have people that come out the neighborhood that you sit on the sidewalk with, and y'all sit back and pound a beer and throw out a song or something, and all of a sudden, God take this song and he put some music to it and some beats, and everybody liked that song. And next thing you know, people are buying it. Next thing you know, the man he went from sitting on the corner to owning a penthouse in New York City somewhere, worth worth $500 million more. Now they too good to come and sit on the corner now. They too good to come back in the corner, come back to the hood and say, "Hey, look, you know what? Let's try and raise some of our brothers up. I don't have to give them that, but you can build something to help them, teach them something to help them." Now, don't do that. So, in other words, all thing I'm saying is the time has come for us to do things for ourselves. People unite, not fighting each other, having all these racist remarks, and everybody thinking that their opinion is better than everybody else's. And the opinions that they're given that they think is better is baseless. It's not doesn't have any substance to it, but yet they want to outlaw you from having your own opinion. Doesn't make sense. If your opinion is not hurting anyone, say whatever you want to say. But yet you got so many people that get their feelings hurt. They hurt their own feelings based on how they react to what someone is saying. You know, what's the saying goes? Sticks and stones break your bones, but names will never hurt you. People at the top don't see all these crimes and killings that's going on in the ghetto. They don't see it. It's not there. Uh, I heard a news commentator talking this morning, talking about inflation. He didn't come out and say it as plain as I'm getting ready to say it, but he was saying they don't see no inflation. They don't have no problems in the supermarket. They don't have problems at the gas tank. If they did, he could put a gas tank in his backyard. They don't have problems because they have money. People that do not have money or have access to money in time of need, these are the people that have problems. And as long as we continue to give, not just people of color, but all people continue to give your money away, to spend your money foolishly, always going to have problems. Until you wake up one day and find out everything is gone. There's nobody listening. Right now, when you really think about it, we are floating on a bottomless pit economy. If you don't have any money, I've always tried to figure that out. They say, oh, we're 30 trillion in debt. Now, if you 30 trillion in debt, if you 500 in debt, you can't get no credit. If your credit score isn't up, you can go there and holler all you want to. If you ain't got no credit, no money, you can't get anything. But yet, we're in debt. We owe out all this money, but yet we can pull 20, 30, 40 billion, 50 billion out of the drop of a hat. Boom, for this, for this, for this, for this. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, it's the money, but the money is a tool to get stuff. And people, this is where you're falling short. The money that you're getting, you're not using it. Excuse me. You're not using your money for your benefit. You let everybody else come along. I didn't understand that. You let everybody else come along and put their hands in your pocket, getting your money. Nickel and diamond, $10, $15 to death. Now, you know who's making money now? The rich stores. The stores that sell the high-end products. They're making money. You know why? When you think about it, because the rich has the money. People ain't got no money. That's why a lot of these businesses closing. A lot of them closing because people don't have that money, and money is not coming. Jobs is going away. Automation jobs is going away with robotics and all this other stuff. Jobs is a different type of job now. Let's take the electric car for example. You don't have carb. You don't need carburetor. I'm not even a mechanical engineer or anything, but just common sense. Electric car, carburetors. Uh, don't have a lot of these movable parts type engine that are that's in regular cars. They don't have them. It's just a battery, man. You go in there, you push a button, boom, things connect. You go on down the street, quiet. You don't hear anything, nothing. You're sitting on batteries, lithium. I don't know how it affects the cells of the body, but I did do some recent reading, and it says that it's highly flammable uh, in an accident. Those are batteries. Those batteries are really expensive, so therefore, I would assume that the insurance would be extremely costly for these electric cars. Um, so it's a whole transition that's taking place with these cars, and they say within the next 10, 12 years, they're not even gonna be making any more gasoline vehicles, or maybe a very few. So a lot of things is getting ready to change now, and now they're talking about flying taxis. Isn't there enough planes in the sky already without flying taxis? And then they talk about drones. This mess is crazy. And low income, the middle class, one and two, it's not included. That's why, you know, New by Lou, New by Lou Incorporated, um, have an answer. Um, and this nonprofit will be coming out soon. I'm in the process of putting all the groundwork and building it together because it's something that's needed. We're going to have to get involved. It's going to take money, but at the same time, we cannot put a price on our future and the future of our children because we are the ones going to have to do it, Americans. And we're going to have to help the people, not only here in America, but people around the world. Starving. People are starving to death in 2022 around the world with nothing to eat. We got people with billions, trillions of dollars. Why? Never spend it. Never spend it. Never. So what's the point? I can't figure it out. But we have got to we've got to do better. Keep talking about it, and the clock is ticking. Clock is ticking. And if people don't open up their eyes, if they can't see what's happening with the climate changes, uh, the younger people seem like more and more every day, they seem to be more and more destructive. Uh, Life means less and less each day when life is the only important thing that really means anything because without life, there is nothing. Your health, you don't care. See people just eat, got food in both hands, throwing it down. Bodies all out of shape. They just can't run. I mean, young people, never seen it like this. This stuff is going to come back to you, people. They're not building all these hospitals. They don't have all this medicine and stuff for nothing. Your immune system drop, all these viruses is going to come on you. They're going to come on you, eat you up worse than AIDS ever did. These things are just laying in the cut, waiting until we do something. And then it's election time. Oh my goodness! It to me, all this election going on, it just shows me the hold that these politicians have over the masses of people based on their ability to to control the minds of the people. You know, if how in the heck if you had never had no experience, you're rich, multimillionaire, you don't even deal with low people, low income people. You don't even know anything about them. When you walk past them on the street, you want to cross over to the other side. But now all of a sudden you can come up and you want to represent them. All of a sudden you can fix this at the drop of a hat. And this mess been going on for the last 100 years, but yet now all of a sudden you don't have a knowledge of anything. You come up here, fix the problem. This is the problem. People, you need to wake up and stop just being fools. Do your research. Use some common sense, which is gone. That's like anything. If you don't use it, you lose it. It's a principle. And that's it. We have got to do better and stop talking about doing better. Stop talking about it. These leaders, what leaders? What leaders do we have when you can't believe a word they say? What leaders do you have when they put their hand on the Bible to profess to taking an oath, and then they turn right around and they're just full of lies, no transparency about anything. So much hypocrisy is going on that they can't even see it. They start believing stuff themselves. Just because somebody come into a lot of money doesn't make you brilliant. So all of a sudden now you got all this money, you can do whatever you want to do. No, you still got the answer to it. No one is above the law. No one is above anything. That's the problem. Every people start answering for what they have for what they have done, and you'll see a change. A mockery has been made out of this government. It has no legitimacy at all, or maybe a little bit. Even the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court, supposed to be come under to have the umbrella of that word supreme, is full of crap. The Supreme Court judge's wife don't even believe in the system. I mean, what did you think the people are going to believe in? We see all this stuff. Confused, man. We have no role models for nothing. Everybody. Football star. I mean, a football star, if I'd have seen him walk, I mean, I like football. I like to watch the game. But you know what? When somebody is outstanding in something and display a talent, you know, when you see him, you just want, hey, give me your autograph. This, look at it. Well, when you have these football stars out here stealing from the poor, they multimillionaires, taking money from the poor people, so from the poorest state in the country, from the children. And you wonder why they can't get ahead. And you talk about them. You talk about them. You are the reason. It's disgusting. You should hang your head in shame and never come up. There's certain lines, meaning there's certain things that once you do it, or line, once you cross that line, you can't go back and undo that because that's something you should have never done in the first place. Was no need for that man to do that. But they don't know. Nothing goes unpunished. That's just the law. Whether you believe in God or not, there are universal laws and principles. So you sow, so shall you reap. You plant a seed in the ground, the fruit that seed bears is going to be determined by the nutrients in the soil. And vice versa. So all these people out here doing all this wrong and think you get them, it's not that easy because you don't know it. You think it is, but it's not. But that's common sense. People don't have any common sense. But what they do have is the fact that, oh well, you know what? I done did all this and got all this money, so when time for me to go, I don't want to go, man. I don't want to die because I don't know what's out there. Let me get a mechanical heart. Let me get another brain. Make me another body and put this head on some type of different frame. But at some point, whether it's 100, 500, 5,000, you got to answer for what you did. You're going to answer for what you do because that's who you are. And you have to look around. See, we're human for a reason. People seem to be losing sight of that. And at the same time, we people here are living. Just can't let people just come up and just do whatever they have laws. They need to be held accountable for what they do. They may have money, but guess what? They are no better than you and I. People talk about Joe Biden and the him letting the people out of jail who was arrested on marijuana charges now that they are making the possession of marijuana legal in some states. So it's only proper and fitting that the President of the United States should let those people out of jail who was jailed on marijuana charges, possession of marijuana. It's only fair. It doesn't even need room for debate. But guess what? There are people out there who debating that. Oh, they shouldn't have. And I would be willing to bet some of the same ones that's debating that, I bet you they smoking pot. They ain't be doing something else. You never know. But it's their business. But right's right, and we seem to be getting away from what's right. It's just common sense. Common sense. And you have to wake up to the point that for things to get better, and it's simple, you have to get better. It's not going to change on its own. It's not. And I know, look, what I'm getting ready to say, it's been on my mind for years. And I know a lot of black women gonna get on me. But guess what? That's okay. I can express my opinion. That's all I'm doing. I'm not telling any woman to do whatever you want to do. I'm just expressing my opinion, and I am entitled to my opinion. And that is, I would love to see black women lose the weaves. Get rid of them. Have a weave burning night, something. Because to me, it's nothing any better, looks any better than a black woman with her own hair. Do whatever you want to do with it, but let it be your own hair. The universe, planet, there is beauty in being different. Yes. You know, back in the 60s, I'm telling you, it was nothing. And even to the day, it's nothing better than a black woman with your own hair. You can style it any kind of way, but I mean I can see it coming back gradually, but it can come back overnight. But it's just my opinion. And men, we need to start respecting our women. We need to start doing it, you know, and vice versa. And we need to start taking better care of ourselves because it when I see sometime you see little girls 5, but not 5, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 years old wearing weaves. What's up with that? What's up with that? That tells me you're not even satisfied with yourself. So that's a major problem. Major problem right from the door. So uh Eagles is kicking butt. I know I just changed, but I had to throw that in there. The Eagles kicking butt. Uh Phillies and came up and surprising everybody. So this Sunday, let's go Eagles over Dallas. I think that's who they playing. And but we got to do better. We got to do better. I have a lot of things that I'm working on. I'm coming through with, but we got to stop all this talking. We got to start being role models. Role models. And we really got to stop just, feeding people is one thing, and that people need to eat. Well, we got to change our whole perspective on how to survive, how we're going to survive in the future. You know, because if you just lay around and wait for somebody to give you something all the time, what happens when something happens to them and they can't show? You're done. And that's not the predicament we want to be in, but that's the predicament we're going to be in if we don't change. And that's the reason that think about it using common sense. Uh, See to talk about it. Uh, Daily Prism. See to write about it. Solutionconcepts.com is here to counsel about it. And shitlist.com is here to expose those people who are here taking advantage of us. So on that note, people, I have to go. I could talk more and more and more, but it's it's um it's just it's just time, man. It's just time, and I'm sick and tired of hearing these same politicians come in with the same mess. Everybody's going over this, and no one's above the law. No one. Okay. So thank you all very much.